Hi, I'm Rosh from Energy Matters. Welcome to our podcast, Road to Zero, where we dive headfirst into all things renewable. Join us as we chat with industry experts, tech specialists, and some of your favorite TV and radio personalities, asking the renewable energy questions that you want answers to. Our goal, a zero carbon future. In today's episode, I am absolutely delighted to be catching up with Eric Koh, who is the General Manager for SF Suntech-Australia. Good morning, Eric. How are you?
Good morning, Roshan. Thanks for having me.
Mate, you are very, very welcome. It's a pleasure to have you join me. And this is pretty much, with the exception of a quick chat just before this is the first time you and I have ever caught up.
This is the first time. That's right.
Mate, fantastic. Well, I'm actually getting excited to get to know a little bit more about yourself and obviously the business itself.
Sure.
But Eric, just to kick things off, for anyone that doesn't know you, tell us quickly, tell us in a few lines, your journey to date in the solar / renewable energy industry. What led you here today?
Sure. So my journey in solar industry actually started back as a student in the University of New South Wales, back about probably 25 years ago. I was studying PV subject back then and did my thesis in solar. And back then, someone whom I probably respected a lot showed me a video on climate disaster that was in 1997. And I thought was how good it would be if I can contribute to nature after my graduation. So I still remember back then, when I was doing my thesis, I saw an article that forecasted solar production $1 per watt in 2010. That was a futuristic figure that I saw. And in the back of my thesis, I wrote back then in 1997, looking forward for the day when the energy for solar is $1 per watt. 2010, I'm waiting for you. And very excited about solar. Went back to Singapore to work, wanted to bring solar to Singapore. Unfortunately, it was too early. Solar was too expensive, and I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. So bringing forward, I saw an article, alumni magazine from University of New South Wales about Suntech.
Yeah.
About Suntech public listing. And I was just thinking, wow. And that was back in probably 2006, 2007. I saw this alumni magazine. Yeah, and it rekindled my interest in solar back then. But I didn't take any action until 2009 when I migrated over to Australia and chanced upon this opportunity with Suntech.
Oh, mate, and that perfect timing as well. I actually got involved in solar power in 2009 as well. And,
is this so?
So I've been involved in energy since the year 2000. I was actually involved in energy back in the UK for a company called British Gas in '99, and then I came out here backpacking as you do as an English graduate, and I got into energy to start with in 2001 officially in Australia. And I was working with the greener side of the retailers. And then in 2009, I got involved in solar power. And it was an amazing time. Things have obviously changed a lot since 2009.
Yes.
And equipment's got way more cheap, way more affordable. But how feeding tariffs and the incentives being offered, are nowhere near what they used to be like, which is a shame. But hopefully that will improve. So why did you choose to work for Suntech specifically? And what had you, respond to their ad and want to work with that organization?
Well, those in the solar industry would have an emotional attachment towards this company because its founder and its close link, Suntech close link with Australia and University of New South Wales. And Suntech was a company that moved the dynamic of solar manufacturing from Europe to China. Reducing the production cost from $4 per watt in the early days to less than $2 per watt by 2010. It's a great contributor to the industry. And I find that I'm so fortunate and thankful to Suntech and for those who has actually recruited me to the company.
Absolutely. They're a fantastic brand, and we work with a number of retailers that swear by Suntech. And obviously, Sunways, which we'll talk about in a little while as well. Just the panels are amazing. The inverters are incredible. The organization themselves, the philosophies all the way back to manufacturing level are fantastic. What three things, if I was to ask you to tell me what three things differentiate Suntech from their competitors, what would be those three things?
I think this year is Suntech 21st anniversary. And we have, this is number one, which is the key. We have office offering technical support in Sydney for the last 15 years. And
Wow.
homeowners are just phone calls away. The third key point, I think, for homeowners is that they are just phone call away from my engineers answering their inquiries and not a vending machine. So these are the key things that we are supporting the Australian market, which is a very strong presence in Australia. And of course, after 15 years in Australian market, we have actually introduced Suntech sister company called Sunways into the Australian market. And Sunways is an inverter manufacturer established in Germany back in 1993 and acquired by our Suntech parent company in 2014. So for those probably not so familiar, inverter is the electronic device that convert DC to AC power suitable for home use. And for Sunways, the key thing that we're offering is we are offering 12 years parts and labor warranty. And Sunways enjoy the same local support with attractive price point. So I feel when investing in solar, it is important to look at the history and local support of the company. It just needs money to become the world's largest manufacturer, but it needs the test of time for the company and its product quality to last for such a long time.
Look, absolutely. I mean, we in the upcoming TV show that we have happening actually on the weekend with which is a beautiful, beautiful home in regional Victoria. We feature both the Suntech panels on the roof as well as the Sunways inverter on the wall. And I had to do a little bit of research on the products before I obviously sort of did my little spiel on TV. But I was absolutely blown away with the quality of the product. To be fair, I always knew about Suntech, but I never knew about Sunways until then. And it's a fantastic piece of kit. So we'll definitely, look, this week's episode, guys, I mean, make sure you jump on board to see Open Homes episode 9. It's absolutely incredible. But with that particular home, it's a 10 kilowatt solar system, and that particular home had over 20 kilowatts of battery storage, which was amazing. The Sunways inverter itself, I mean, who and how do you distribute your products in Australia? Do you have a specific distributor that you use?
Yes, we work closely with Lawrence and Hanson Solar Plus Solution. It's an electrical wholesaler in Australia, and they do have presence of 150 branches across its network in Australia.
Wow.
Solar retailers can always approach them for Suntech and Sunways product.
No, which is fantastic. I mean, one of the key things I find, we have thousands of consumers coming to us every month wanting to go solar, and I mean, what the great thing about the solar industry now, especially with shows like Open Homes Australia, is the consumers getting better educated on what products are actually available. And they're getting to ask really intelligent questions of people that want them to install solar power to say, look, I actually want this type of equipment. So the hardest part of this industry is being able to get access to the equipment you want, because not all retailers will stock or buy those specific panels or those specific inverters or those specific batteries. And fundamentally, all that product is available through distribution, and all retailers have access to that product through distribution. So really, from a consumer's point of view, watching or listening to this today, if you want to install Suntech or Sunways, you know what? Ask a retailer. If you find a retailer, you come to NGMAT's website, we'll partner you up with some great retailers. But ask the question that you want specific product, and your retailers can go to S Plus, to we call them S, and can go to those guys and request the actual equipment product. All right, it's definitely available. Look, just going on a bit further, really, about the industry itself. We know the product's incredible. What trends are you now seeing in the market? There's been obviously a few challenges of late. Obviously COVID presented the first round of challenges, and then obviously there was a whole sort of schmozzle regarding compliance and with the Clean Energy Council, and people had to sort of go through a process, and then it's just now a manufacturing. Obviously, there's an energy crisis in China, which has minimized minimized the amount of production. And then obviously raw materials are a problem as well. I mean, and now logistics and getting stock overseas to Australia is, obviously an ongoing concern as well. How are things for you guys? I mean, how are you meandering through all these challenges?
It has been challenging. There's a lot of policy changes, and the COVID comes along, and with the energy crunch last year, October last year, that has actually created quite a lot of challenges in the industry. And I think the policy side is, I think everybody is aware of what has happened. The sudden change in policy doesn't help. We have been affected quite a lot, similarly with all the others in the solar industry. I think the other challenge which I find, not on the upstream, but probably more on the downstream, the end customers side, homeowners, is that in Australia, more and more customers are going for cheap solar. Cheap solar that promising, say, 25 years product warranty, which is technically already covered under the 25 years performance warranty. And this new trend of pushing or the request for 25 years product warranty is just probably cheap solar companies' gimmick, and gets many homeowners fall into it. To be honest, no one in the world is actually requesting for 25 years product warranty. It is only Australia, a very special market, that is actually starting to push for that.
Yeah. And to be fair, a lot of the time, I mean, those, almost that communication, those strategies, sort of comes from a sales, almost from a sales level. And then which is kind of retailer / sales, and then unfortunately, once a few companies start to sort of put that into the mindset of the consumer, then it becomes, well, they're offering this, I want this now. Can you offer that too? The challenge that we all face, and obviously, the reason why Energy Matters, I mean, we believe in a zero carbon future first and foremost. So fundamentally, our goal, our why, is that every single home, every single business, every single building has solar power.
Yes.
We want 100% of all energy to come from renewable energy, and then we have a zero carbon future, right? Because everything starts with zero, and ends with zero. All manufacturing is produced using renewable energy. There is no carbon. So that's our goal and what we'd like to see. The reality of the situation, though, is that we need obviously things to happen in a trend-like fashion. And at the same token, there needs to be quality of product available, and
Indeed.
And it needs, consumers, obviously, anyone watching or listening to this, the reason for the TV shows is to show you guys, how good the technology really is. Because there are horror stories, and unfortunately, a large portion of customers who aren't happy have unfortunately just wanted to spend as little as possible and buy, the worst. And it's not, not being disrespectful, but buy stuff that isn't that great. When but for a little bit more and using some financial plans that are available, you could buy equipment that's 10 times better and actually going to last and do exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And that's certainly a challenge we see being faced in the industry over and over again. I mean, with yourselves personally, I mean, how do you combat that challenge? I mean, what strategies do you have? And once again, I don't expect you to give me too much in this conversation, but what things can Suntech doing just to educate customers and obviously, to encourage them to make the right choice?
I think it's important. Education is important to actually pass the right message. And of course, we see a lot of companies out there is probably passing the wrong information. On the part of Suntech, I think as a company presence for the last 21 years and 15 years in Australia, what we actually promote or educate is actually our experiences for the last few decades in the industry. So education is important. We also would like to conduct more similar kind of a training for retailers, for installers, to tell them what are the correct things.
And I think it's fantastic. The fact you actually now not only have an amazing panel, but with a partnership and the adoption of Sunways, which is an incredible inverter, having that solution now, it's almost like a package solution, right? Where you install a customer, they get panels that speak to the inverter speaks to panels. It's a marriage made in heaven, and then you can slot in any battery. Do you have specific batteries that you prefer to integrate with Sunways, or can it be anything?
We have a couple of brands of batteries that we can integrate with. That is for the hybrid inverter, which will be launching in the next couple of months. And we are also looking at the compatibility with BYD. Yes, Pylon-Tech is already compatible, and a few other brands of battery for Australian market.
Awesome, very, very exciting. What are your thoughts about electric vehicles? Do you feel people should be buying them now?
All right. Personally, I mean, if you look at the statistic, transportation sector generates probably about 18% of the total carbon emission in Australia. Probably the third largest emitter, following after energy productions and stationary energy, for example, manufacturing and mining. Transportation is something that we should be looking at to reduce carbon footprint. And in fact, if I didn't remember wrongly, it was estimated that average cost of fuel for an internal combustion energy car is about $1 per liter, and EV is about 33 cents per liter. And if one has solar and battery storage in their home, the cost of powering EV will be practically nothing.
Completely.
So, yeah.
It's so true, and what you've actually done, Eric, has inspired me to sort of make a point, which really is, we encourage every customer to get a battery, right? Don't get me wrong, financially batteries are still quite a thing; they're quite expensive, and it's not beyond any, it's not available to everyone to spend $20,000 on a solar power system and a battery. Okay, but if it could be made affordable, the thing to do is the fact that if you are going to buy a new vehicle and you can spend $60,000 or depending on what's available at the time on an EV as opposed to like a petrol driven car, the savings in petrol alone are going to be if you drive your vehicle, you actually do some kilometers, you're going to save thousands of dollars a year on petrol. If you then look at those thousands of dollars of savings on petrol and against what you spent on your solar power system and your battery storage, and combine all the return on investment of all those components, you'll actually see you're paying off everything a lot quicker than you anticipated. So really moving in that direction.
Yes, I think indeed, definitely. With the combinations of, even for those who probably finding the price of the battery is not as attractive at the moment, they can just probably install a solar system, and then at a later stage retrofit with battery.
Absolutely, and look, your hybrid inverter with Sunways is perfect for that, right? I mean,
definitely.
Yeah, which is fantastic. Couple quick things before we finish off, just on the actual on zero carbon future, which is our passion. I mean, what are your thoughts on climate change?
Do you still call it climate change or climate crisis?
Yeah, we should be calling it the climate crisis, shouldn't we? Really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, Australia sees the reality of this climate crisis just not too distant ago. Unprecedented drought and bushfire in 2019 and 2020. And I feel that for those lives who has been impacted by this climate crisis, climate change is already here. I feel no one shouldn't wait till that day to make a difference, to do their part to reduce on the impact to the environment.
Completely, and that's the unfortunate reality. I mean, we hit that point a long time ago, right? And I don't think the penny hasn't dropped yet because, and without being disrespectful, our governments aren't sending out a powerful enough message to the public to say, we're in trouble, everybody needs to act, including us as a government, right? That's effectively, if there was a meteorite, there was that movie up in the sky, I can't remember what it's called, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, and it's about this meteorite heading towards the planet, and the planet's going to die, right? And obviously it's a satire, and the ultimate goal was this is actually a climate change conversation where it's happening. So if there was a meteor, people would panic and people would say, what can we do to get rid of the meteor? The fact is, we're in a process of climate. We are at that point where we have to reduce our carbon footprint. We have to start making some powerful choices to prevent even more radical environmental behavior and work on solutions for that. And fundamentally, everybody kind of needs to get into the program. I mean, what would you suggest? What would you say people can do to start to reduce their carbon footprint?
First, as an individual, we should acknowledge that we can make a difference. The subtle change people can take is looking at our lifestyle, differentiating between what you want and what you need, reduce on desire for those wants, and have a more simple life to meet the needs. So I think that is the way to moving forward. And with your lesser wants, you will know what are the things that you need to do to reduce this carbon emission.
No, good man. Absolutely bang on. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Eric. I do appreciate it. Before I let you go, I'm going to let you shamelessly spruik your technology and any products you have coming up. So what would you like to let our listeners and viewers know about what's coming next for Suntech? What's coming next for Sunways in terms of product launches?
Sure. So in terms of the technology, Suntech has been investing a lot in technology. We have actually recently started production of our TOPCon cells. TOPCon stands for tunnel oxide passivation contact. These cells actually produce a higher efficiency, which Fraunhofer has said it can reach up to 25.7%. So
wow,
So this will enable smaller footprint modules with a higher power class. And this TOPCon cell is actually manufactured in Suntech fully digitized industry first smart factory. And to cater for the global demand, Suntech is currently expanding its production capacity with its current 10 gigawatt. There's a new factory that currently being built, which will be ready by October this year. It should double the production capacity to 20 gigawatt. So look out for the TOPCon product that will be, in fact, we have already launched and will be available in Australia in the next couple of months. As in terms of the Sunways part of the business, Sunway product, Sunway is actually increasing its production capacity as well, doubling it probably this year to 20,000 units per month. And because of the certification, we are having the single phase inverter already listed in Australia. And very soon we'll be having the hybrid inverter and as well as battery for storage system.
Fantastic. That's so exciting, mate. Look, it's such great technology, guys. So anyone pay attention, have a look at the, certainly visit our website and read up about it. We've got some good information on our website about both Suntech and Sunways. And more importantly, have a look at Open Homes Australia when it features on the weekend and see this great technology installed on a property. I mean, it's great looking tech and it does exactly what it's there to do, provide you, great amounts of electricity, green and clean electricity at that. Look, thank you very much for your time today, Eric. I do appreciate you being on our podcast, mate. It's been a pleasure to chat to you.
Thank you so much, Roshan. Have a great day.
You too, mate. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, guys, before I finish you up, just quickly, remember you can get up to 3 free solar quotes and a free energy bill comparison via our website. I'm at energymatters.com.au. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our LinkedIn pages. Enjoy Open Homes Australia episode 9. The products from there, Suntech in Sunways, incredible sort of solution, a beautiful home, and you can see what it looks like when it's all fully installed. All the best, guys. Have a fantastic weekend.